You know, the world often hides its most astonishing truths in plain sight. Behind every ordinary moment, there's a story so bizarre, so improbable, it kind of forces us to question what normal even means. Take, for instance, the day British intelligence hacked into an Al-Qaeda website, not to steal information, but to, replace bomb-making instructions with a cupcake recipe. Or the time The Hague spent 150,000 euros building a bridge, not for people, but for squirrels. These moments remind us that reality is often far stranger, and honestly, far funnier than fiction. Human history is just filled with flashes of absurd genius and accidental brilliance. English astronomer William Herschel discovered Uranus in 1781, but briefly named it George in honor of King George III, giving the heavens its first, and thankfully only, royal planet. Meanwhile, an inventor named Richard James stumbled on the Slinky when a spring fell off a shelf. What began as a naval stabilizing device became a global toy phenomenon. The pattern repeats across time. Chaos turns to creativity, mistake becomes marvel. Our quirks aren't limited to inventions. Entire governments have indulged in the ridiculous. In the tiny town of Dorset, Minnesota, the mayor is chosen by pulling a name from a hat, a system that once placed a 3-year-old in office. In Turkey centuries ago, women could divorce their husbands for failing to provide enough coffee. And in Nebraska, the town of Monowai has a population of 1. Its sole resident serves as mayor, librarian, and bartender. Humanity thrives on rules, yet delights in breaking them. Even our science has a sense of humor. Harvard once proved that the placebo effect still works even when participants know they're taking a placebo. Belief itself is powerful enough to trick the body. Another team found that cows have regional accents, mooing differently depending on where they're raised. And then there's the finding that goalkeepers' brains process information faster than almost anyone's, a neurological edge that might explain those split-second saves. Nature, too, plays by its own eccentric logic. Starfish, for example, pump seawater instead of blood through their bodies, while lobsters communicate by urinating at one another, a less poetic but highly effective form of conversation. Oysters can actually change gender multiple times throughout their lives, adjusting to environmental needs like living biological algorithms. Even pine trees seem aware of weather shifts. When humidity rises, their cones close tightly, signaling rain before it falls. But perhaps nothing showcases the marvel of life better than evolution's quiet adaptations. African elephants, hunted for ivory, have begun evolving without tusks, a sobering yet hopeful reminder that nature always finds a way to survive. In another part of the animal world, hummingbirds defy physics entirely, flying backward with wings that beat up to 80 times per second. And turtles, long thought to be silent, actually talk in frequencies too low for human hearing, even before they hatch. Our relationship with technology and imagination is just as strange. The very symbol of digital expression, the GIF, once faced extinction when its patent holder tried to charge licensing fees. In protest, programmers invented the PNG format, democratizing online creativity forever. The universe, when measured by its average color, turns out to be a pale beige tone scientists call cosmic latte. Even the name Bluetooth carries ancient roots. It honors a 10th century Viking king who united warring tribes just as wireless technology unites devices today. Yet, our brilliance often borders on absurdity. A man in New Zealand legally changed his name to Full Metal Havoc, more sexy and intelligent than Spock and all the superheroes combined with Frost Nova. It took 5 years for officials to approve it. Another man, facing airline baggage fees, wore 70 layers of clothing onto a flight. And somewhere in Michigan, you can apply for an official unicorn hunting license. Humans will do almost anything to prove a point, or get a laugh. Even institutions built on reason aren't immune to irony. In 1930, BBC Radio famously announced, "Good evening, today is Good Friday, there is no news," and played piano music for the rest of the broadcast. The United States Supreme Court houses a basketball court on its top floor, nicknamed the highest court in the land. And Harvard University, the pinnacle of academic achievement, is actually easier to get into than a job at Walmart. For all our obsession with order, life continues to reward the unpredictable. Sometimes the facts that seem smallest speak the loudest. The universe's laughter, it turns out, actually predates language itself. Scientists discovered that baby apes giggle when tickled, proving that laughter existed long before speech. Dreams, too, kind of follow their own mysterious rules. We remember them more vividly when we sleep poorly, as if the brain just refuses to let go of its nighttime stories. Even our habits reflect a certain cosmic comedy. Jennifer Lawrence tattooed H2O on her hand to remind herself to drink water, a permanent post-it note from one of Hollywood's brightest minds. But beneath all this strangeness lies something deeply human. We build bridges for squirrels and wear rugs as battle cloaks on television shows. We turn pumpkins into boats and mourn the loss of news on quiet Fridays. The absurdity isn't meaningless. It's actually evidence of curiosity, creativity, and the restless urge to turn the ordinary into the extraordinary. Each peculiar fact, from beaver-made vanilla to headless chickens, tells the same story. Our world refuses to be dull. If there's one lesson these oddities offer, it's that knowledge is never finished. Every strange discovery hints at a deeper truth waiting to be uncovered. The same spirit that led Herschel to the stars, or a Polish doctor to fake a typhus outbreak to save lives during World War II, still drives us today. The more we learn, the more we realize just how much we don't know, and that's what keeps curiosity alive. So, the next time the world feels predictable, remember, somewhere out there, a lobster is sending a message, a pine cone is forecasting rain, and a bridge built for squirrels still stands proudly in The Hague. If this story made you see the world a little differently, stay tuned for more from Did You Know with Justin Barak, where every fact tells a deeper story.